So all of this, I can't emphasize enough that we're talking about the synergy among foods. And you're not going to be able to go in and treat these nutrients as medicinal necessarily, or say that I'm going to, if you have something like fatigue or depression, I'm just going to take this pill and it's going to go away. You really need to look at the combination of all of these foods together and make sure that you're on a regular basis building those balanced plates that we talked about. I would encourage you really to resist the temptation to treat lulls in energy or fatigue only with sugars and caffeines. These are mood boosters. If you put in caffeine, what's going to happen? You're going to wake up. Okay? How long is it going to last? A couple of hours, and then what are you going to need again? A nap or another boost. Okay. The other thing with caffeine that does happen is we have a dose-related response. So have any of you ever experienced a time in your life when maybe your coffee consumption got out of whack? Okay. What happened? Did you get a little bit immune to the caffeine? Okay. And how did it take more caffeine to get the same effect? Okay. I've gone through times where I didn't consume any caffeine for months in a row, and a little cup of coffee would make me feel like this. And so what happens is when you start to depend on that, you have to you have to put more and more and more in order to get the same effect. So try to. I'm again not going to tell you not to drink a cup of coffee in the morning. I wouldn't deny anybody that. But if you're drinking coffee, just keep it in a reasonable amount so it's not overdoing it. I'd also encourage you to include some luxury foods. Certainly dark chocolate has that serotonin boosting effect. It does provide a little bit of sugar, but it has some antioxidants as well in it as a plant-based food. And when you go with a dark chocolate, what you're going to avoid is some of the extra added sugars and some of the other things in chocolate that dilute the positive benefits of it. So savor it, enjoy it in small amounts, and don't feel guilty about it. I mean, that's one of the cycles that happens sometimes with things like chocolate, is that we feel guilty, and then it starts that whole cycle. Yes? I think as long as you get 50% and above, you're doing pretty well. And I think it also, you have to balance what your personal, it doesn't really do you any good to eat an 80 or 90% cocoa chocolate if you really don't like it. And some people don't like the bitterness and some of the smoothness that you lose when you get into those higher levels. Mm-hmm. And with chocolate, the other thing is playing around with the brands and making sure that the ones that you're eating are the ones that are really, really good to you. Not everybody likes the same brands or the same blends. Also thinking about trading coffee for tea, especially in the afternoon and evening. Remember that caffeine, because it does boost your mood, it may only have that mood-boosting effect for a couple of hours, but the caffeine for many people continues to act on the body for many hours after that. And so caffeine in the afternoon and evening disrupts your sleep at night. And then you're in a cycle of you're getting up the next morning fatigued, you're not feeling well, you're starting off the day on the wrong note. So teas tend to be a little bit less in caffeine, and you can certainly buy herbal teas that don't have caffeine at all, so you can get that warm feeling that you get from coffee without having the caffeine there that might disrupt you later on. And certainly last but not least, don't overlook the balance issue that we spend a lot of time on. At most meals, I would encourage you to go for that full balanced plate where you're having all of those components there. And that's not to say you'll never eat, an unbalanced meal. But most meals go for all of those components. Even if you're going to have a cheeseburger, put some fruits and vegetables with it. You don't have to blow that piece of it just because you decide to have a cheeseburger. But I encourage you also with snacks, you may not have that full balanced plate with snacks, but aim for at least 2 components of it. So if you're going to have fruit for a snack and you need it to last, then have fruit with a piece of cheese, or have fruit with some yogurt, or put a piece of turkey with some, a slice of whole wheat bread, so that you're getting 2 of those components there, even if it's not a full meal. Many, many times with our snacks, we tend to either overdo them or underdo them. And that's one of the reasons they don't work very well for us.